Dean Owen announced last week that we will be resuming our classes January 2018. Our upcoming term will be in the United States, in Knoxville, Tennessee, in facilities owned by Lincoln Memorial University. And we're very fortunate that call was made and the offer was made for us to move to Knoxville, Tennessee for the upcoming semester, which will be January till April. And then we anticipate returning to Dominica for the spring semester, which commences in May 2018, and we'll be back in Dominica next summer, essentially. Many of you watching out there have begun applications for admission. We have a number of folks who are sort of in that process right now, and certainly, not surprisingly, have been asking on a regular basis, well, if I'm applying for the January term, where will I be attending classes? So now we know. Now we're able to tell you that you will be in Knoxville, Tennessee if you are accepted to the January term. By the way, even though it is mid-November this evening, as this broadcast comes to you, there is still time to make your application for the January term, or for many of you out there, to complete the application that you've already begun. We have a staff based here in Miramar who is ready to work with you, walk you through that process, take you by the hand, and hopefully have your interview take place very soon if you are ready to go. Even if you're applying for the May 2018 term or next September, certainly as well, we are working with students for the next 3 terms starting in 2018. So plenty of time still to complete that application and enroll at Ross in 2018. We have 3 entry terms per year. Our next class starts this January in semester 1. We also have a May 18 start date and a September 2018 start date as well. Now, Dr. Wu, you mentioned that before when you were talking about the MERP program that you started in the August MERP, which prepared you then, once you passed, program to start in January a few years ago. And Dr. Frank, you were a September start, and obviously so 2 different perspectives. Yet, you know, both of you, when we were talking prior to the event this evening, both of you saw the value in beginning in January or May, and what some might see as a sort of off cycle, being that September is the traditional start date. Yet, you know, for many reasons, for some students, starting in September is not possible. So, you know, in your mind, why would starting in January be a good time to start medical school?
Yeah, again, like you said, it might seem off cycle, but thinking about it, I actually had more time to kind of take time off to study and take my time with taking my STEP exam, because that's an exam that, you know, you don't want to rush, you want to take your time, and then also planning for clinical rotations. I, again, didn't have to rush through and do back-to-back. I could take my time. I decided to take a little bit of time off to study for step 2, so it gave me some flexibility in how I was able to arrange my schedule. And then even if you graduate off cycle, which I did in November 2016, there's a lot of opportunities with Ross. You can work as a junior faculty, which I did for a little bit of time. You can also take your step 3 in that time off. It gives you also flexible time to travel for interviews, because it's tough to schedule that when you're actively in clinical rotation. So also, not to mention in a January or May class, the class sizes are smaller, so you have the potential to get a lot of like one-on-one attention and ability to work with the professors in each class, which I personally like. I like a smaller class size. So yeah, there were a lot of really positive things about it.
And if the decision is MERP, being that the next class starts on December 5th for the Medical Education Readiness Program and completes in the mid-spring, set students up to begin in semester 1 come next May. In that case, you know, comparing it to someone who starts in September, it basically gives you a 1 semester head start, because those would be folks that you would be going through the process and going through the residency matching process with, correct?
Correct.
So that would be something to consider. So those are all reasons why you might want to be considering Ross University for some of the 2018 terms, depending on where you are in your personal journey toward your MD. I want to thank both of you for being with us this evening. Dr. Wu, Dr. Frank, thank you for volunteering your time. I want to thank everybody who's been watching across Facebook. We appreciate you checking in, learning a little bit about Ross University School of Medicine. Again, accepting applications for January, May, and September 2018 at rossu.edu. We have a great team of admission staff here in Miramar, Florida, just waiting to hear from you and work with you, move you through the process. And once you get through to that interview, which would be with one of our staff members around North America, after the interview, usually only about a week till you receive your admissions decision back from the faculty, because they meet once a week and we truly operate on a rolling basis here. So if you're ready to go to medical school, this may be the place for you. So that's where we stand today at Ross University. Again, I'm Sean Powers, Director of Admissions. I want to thank you for joining us this evening. It's a pleasure to have you along. We look forward to working with you. Take care. Have a great evening.